The strength of solitude is an often underestimated force. In a world where connections and friendships are celebrated as the pillars of emotional well-being, the woman who stands alone, with no close companions or social network, challenges this conventional wisdom. Her solitude is not a reflection of weakness, nor is it a sign of loneliness. It is a powerful declaration of self-sufficiency and inner strength. She has learned to rely on herself for validation, guidance, and support. In solitude, she does not see an absence of people, but rather an opportunity for growth, reflection, and the pursuit of her own sense of purpose. There is a profound strength in the ability to stand alone in a world that constantly urges people to conform, to belong, and to seek approval from others. A woman with no friends is not necessarily isolated or abandoned. She may simply have reached a place where she does not need the external validation that comes from companionship. Her strength lies in her ability to understand that she is enough on her own. She does not need others to define her worth, and her self-esteem is not contingent upon the opinions or perceptions of those around her. Solitude fosters self-awareness, providing the space to confront one's true self without the distractions or expectations of others. This kind of introspection allows her to recognize her desires, ambitions, and strengths with greater clarity. By living in her own company, she develops an intimate relationship with herself, understanding her own thoughts and emotions in a way that those surrounded by others may never truly experience. She becomes her own confidante, able to navigate the complexities of life with a depth of insight that is difficult to gain when surrounded by the noise of constant social interaction. The woman who embraces solitude also possesses resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges her way, moments of heartbreak, loss, and disappointment. Yet, through these trials, she learns to rely on her own inner resources to cope. She does not need the validation of a friend to help her through difficulties because she has learned to endure on her own. There is a quiet but profound power in weathering the storms of life without leaning on others for support. It builds a mental and emotional fortitude that many who constantly seek the company of others may never fully cultivate. In solitude, the woman learns to find joy in her own presence. There is a deep, unshakable satisfaction in the ability to find contentment within oneself, without needing to be constantly entertained or distracted by the company of others. She finds peace in her own thoughts, in the quiet moments where she can simply be. In a society that often prizes socialization and connection, the woman who stands alone reminds us that happiness does not always have to come from the external. It can come from an internal sense of balance and peace. Her solitude also teaches her independence. She becomes skilled at making decisions that are true to her own desires and values without the influence of a friend's opinion or judgment. In many ways, she takes on the role of her own guide. This self-reliance creates a deep sense of empowerment as she is able to chart her own course through life. The choices she makes are based not on what others think she should do, but on what resonates with her deepest truth. Over time, this leads her to a sense of personal autonomy, which is one of the most powerful forms of freedom. Moreover, solitude fosters creativity. The absence of external distractions allows her to connect with her creative self in a way that may not be possible in a group setting. The woman who is comfortable with solitude often discovers untapped talents and ideas that can only emerge when one is alone with their thoughts. It is in this quiet space that new ideas blossom and new possibilities arise. The freedom to explore one's imagination without the influence or judgment of others is a privilege that only solitude can offer. While society may view a woman without friends as an anomaly, she is, in many ways, the embodiment of strength and resilience. Her ability to stand alone in a world that values connection is a testament to her inner power. She does not need to seek validation or approval from others because she understands that her worth is inherent, not dependent on the presence or absence of others in her life. In solitude, she finds the strength to be her true self, to face life's challenges with courage, and to create a life that is uniquely her own. The strength of solitude is not about loneliness. It is about understanding that the most important relationship one can have is with oneself. And in this relationship, the woman finds everything she needs to live a full, rich, and meaningful life, irrespective of whether or not she is surrounded by others. Her solitude is not a void, it is a space of empowerment, growth, and discovery. In standing alone, she becomes the most authentic version of herself. And that is the greatest strength of all. Independent growth is a journey that speaks to the heart of personal transformation. It is the process of developing one's character, beliefs, and abilities without being reliant on others for validation, direction, or support. A woman who embraces independent growth chooses to chart her own path, developing her unique identity and strengths, often in isolation, yet with a deep sense of self-sufficiency. This form of growth is not about rejecting others or isolating oneself from relationships. Rather, it is about creating the space and the conditions necessary for one to evolve based on their own inner compass, free from the constraints of external influence. At the core of independent growth is the ability to learn and change without needing constant guidance or approval from others. It involves cultivating a mindset where personal development becomes an active, self-directed pursuit. This requires a woman to trust in her own ability to make decisions and navigate the world, even if that means stepping into unknown territories or making mistakes along the way. Independent growth is about learning to fail without fear and understanding that mistakes are not signs of weakness, but opportunities for greater wisdom. She embraces the challenges of life as stepping stones rather than obstacles, knowing that every experience, whether positive or negative, contributes to her growth. Part of independent growth is also about self-awareness. As a woman grows independently, she spends time in introspection, coming to terms with who she truly is, not who others want her to be. She begins to recognize her strengths, talents, and potential, but she also becomes aware of her weaknesses and areas in need of improvement. This honest self-assessment is not meant to bring self-criticism, but to empower her to take responsibility for her own development. She understands that growth does not come from the comfort of being accepted by others, but from the discomfort of confronting her own limitations and working to overcome them. It is in this process of self-discovery that she learns to redefine her sense of self-worth, relying less on external feedback and more on her own internal sense of value. Independent growth is also deeply tied to the courage to stand alone and make decisions based on personal conviction. In many ways, it is easier to follow the crowd, to go along with the opinions and expectations of friends, family, or society at large. However, a woman who pursues independent growth is unafraid to walk a path that may not be the popular one or one that others might not understand. She trusts her instincts and intuition to lead her in the direction that feels right for her. Whether it is in choosing a career, a relationship, or a lifestyle, she understands that only by following her own heart can she truly flourish. Independent growth means having the strength to make tough choices, to sometimes go against the grain, and to believe that her journey is uniquely her own, even if it differs from the traditional expectations of those around her. This growth also nurtures a sense of resilience. Life often presents challenges that require not just emotional strength, but mental fortitude. When a woman is growing independently, she learns to weather storms on her own, developing coping mechanisms and strategies that align with her personal beliefs and values. Rather than seeking external reassurance, she looks within, finding her inner power to navigate difficulties. Independent growth teaches her that she is her own best advocate, and she becomes adept at finding solutions to problems by relying on her resourcefulness. This ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep moving forward even when the path is unclear, is a hallmark of a woman who has cultivated independent growth. It is a quiet confidence, not born from external praise, but from the trust she has in her own abilities to overcome whatever life throws her way. As she continues to grow independently, A woman also becomes more attuned to her desires and goals. She begins to understand what truly motivates her and what makes her feel fulfilled, not based on society's ideals or the desires of those around her, but based on her own values. Independent growth involves refining these values and goals, sometimes shedding old beliefs or dreams that no longer serve her, and making space for new ones that align more with the woman she is becoming. She realizes that growth is a continual process, that her goals may evolve over time, and that it is okay to redefine success on her own terms. She is not bound by the expectations of others, but free to pursue what truly matters to her. Ultimately, independent growth leads to empowerment. A woman who grows independently takes ownership of her life, and in doing so, she becomes fully capable of creating the life she desires. She does not wait for others to tell her what to do or how to feel. She has the inner wisdom to make her own decisions and the confidence to live with the consequences, whatever they may be. Independent growth allows her to reach her fullest potential, unlocking doors that may have otherwise remained closed if she had allowed herself to be tethered to the expectations or limitations imposed by others. She learns to trust her instincts, to rely on her own abilities, and to embrace the person she is becoming. Through independent growth, a woman creates a life that is truly her own, shaped by her unique experiences, values, and desires. It is a process of continuous transformation, where each stage is a testament to her resilience, strength, and capacity to evolve. In the end, it is through this journey of self-directed growth that she becomes the fullest, most authentic version of herself. Redefining friendship is a concept that challenges conventional beliefs about connection and belonging. Traditional ideas often view friendship as an essential component of a fulfilling life, something that must be cultivated in a certain way and often within a specific social framework. Yet for many, the act of redefining friendship offers a path to deeper understanding and richer experiences that don't conform to societal expectations. It is about seeing friendship not as an obligatory or transactional relationship, but as a meaningful and flexible bond that can take many forms. At the heart of redefining friendship is the recognition that true connection is not bound by the traditional structures we often associate with it. While society tends to prioritize close-knit circles, group gatherings, and regular communication as markers of true friendship, some individuals find that these expectations do not fit their personal needs or desires. Redefining friendship means stepping away from these conventional ideals and understanding that the essence of friendship lies in mutual respect, shared values, and meaningful exchanges, regardless of frequency or traditional roles. A woman who redefines friendship may find that her closest bonds are not with people she spends time with daily, but with individuals who share her passions, her thoughts, and her vision of life, people who may not fit the mold of the traditional friend, but who offer connection in ways that truly matter. This redefinition allows for the exploration of quality over quantity. Traditional friendships are often evaluated by their longevity or frequency. Yet this approach overlooks the depth of connection that can exist even in brief encounters. A woman who redefines friendship might find that she values the meaningful conversations, the shared moments of vulnerability, or the silent understanding she shares with certain individuals, rather than focusing on the expectation of constant interaction. A friendship might not need to fit the stereotypical notion of regular check-ins or planned outings. Instead, it can be grounded in the emotional and intellectual bond that transcends time or distance. It could be a friendship where understanding is the primary currency and where no one feels the need to explain themselves because they are accepted and valued for who they truly are, even in the absence of regular communication. Redefining friendship also opens the door to the idea that some friendships are fleeting, yet powerful. In this context, a person who has walked alongside another during a difficult time, or who has shared a moment of insight or personal growth, can be just as important as a lifelong companion. The transient nature of these connections does not lessen their significance. They might only exist for a season, yet the impact they have on one's life can be profound. A woman who redefines friendship might find that the quality of these temporary connections has a more lasting effect on her life than a friendship that drags on without true substance. These friendships are about moments, experiences, and shared lessons, and they often provide the kind of growth and perspective that conventional, long-term friendships may fail to offer. This new understanding of friendship also challenges the idea of dependency that often accompanies traditional friendships. Redefining friendship is not about relying on others for emotional stability or personal fulfillment. Instead, it is about finding balance in relationships where there is mutual respect for independent space and personal boundaries. A woman who redefines friendship values the ability to be whole on her own without the need to seek constant validation or approval from others. Her friendships, rather than being based on dependence or expectation, are rooted in authenticity and mutual empowerment. These relationships are more about shared growth and support rather than fulfilling a specific need or role in each other's lives. When friendship is not seen as a means of emotional crutch, it allows each person to flourish and find fulfillment both individually and together, free from the pressure of living up to societal definitions of what a friendship should be. Additionally, redefining friendship allows room for friendships that exist in unconventional forms. They might not fit the classic archetype of shared experiences or constant interaction. For example, a friendship might be based on intellectual or creative exchanges, where the primary connection is rooted in a shared love for art, music, or philosophical discussion. These kinds of friendships are less about physical presence and more about shared passions and intellectual stimulation. A woman might find that she connects deeply with individuals through digital platforms, exchanging ideas and inspirations without ever having met face to face. These non-traditional forms of friendship may be equally as meaningful as any in-person connection, and they can offer a level of depth and insight that would not necessarily emerge in a more conventional friendship dynamic. Redefining friendship also embraces the idea that people change, and so do their relationships. As a woman grows and evolves, her need for certain kinds of friendships may shift. Some connections may fade, while others deepen. This fluidity is part of the beauty of friendship when it is no longer tied to outdated expectations. A woman who redefines friendship accepts that her relationships will evolve in a natural way. She does not hold on to friendships that no longer serve her growth, and she welcomes the new ones that align with her current state of being. This adaptability allows her to build friendships that are more authentic and aligned with who she truly is at every stage of her life. In the end, redefining friendship is about liberating oneself from the traditional molds that often bind us to limited, one-dimensional connections. It is about cultivating relationships that bring true value, not because they meet the expectations of society, but because they resonate with authenticity, respect, and mutual growth. A woman who redefines friendship recognizes that the strongest bonds are often those that are based not on obligation, but on genuine connection, where each individual can be their truest self, free from the need to conform to traditional ideas of what friendship should look like. Redefining friendship allows for a richer, more diverse understanding of what it means to connect with others and ultimately to cultivate a life filled with meaningful and fulfilling relationships. Breaking societal norms is an act of profound courage and self-awareness. It is the decision to challenge the status quo, to question the conventions that society has established as the ideal way of living, thinking, or behaving. Society often imposes a set of rules or expectations that define how people should look, act, or engage with the world around them. These norms dictate the way we interact with others, the choices we make, and even the goals we pursue. Breaking these norms is not merely an act of rebellion, but a journey of personal freedom, self-expression, and growth. It is about stepping away from the traditional paths that society has laid out and forging a unique way forward. At the heart of breaking societal norms is the recognition that everyone has their own individual path to follow. Society has a tendency to categorize people into predefined roles, often based on factors such as gender, age, career expectations, or social status. These categories can feel limiting, creating pressure to conform to roles that may not align with the person's true desires or potential. A woman who chooses to break societal norms, for instance, may choose a career that is not traditionally associated with her gender, or she may opt to remain childless when societal expectations urge motherhood upon her. This decision is not about rejecting society altogether, but about refusing to let societal labels define her life's direction. In doing so, she finds the freedom to pursue a path that reflects her authentic self, rather than one dictated by external expectations. Breaking societal norms also involves the courage to question and dismantle long-held beliefs that may not serve the individual's well-being or the collective good. Many norms are based on outdated or limiting perceptions of gender, race, class, or culture. For example, the societal norm that women must be passive or submissive has been deeply ingrained for generations. A woman who challenges this norm by embracing assertiveness, independence, and self-empowerment is not just rejecting outdated ideals, she is affirming her right to exist as her full, unapologetic self. She is signaling that her voice, her choices, and her ambitions matter, regardless of how society may have conditioned her to think otherwise. This act of questioning and rejecting societal norms often requires a deep sense of personal conviction. A person who chooses to break free from the expectations placed upon them must be willing to withstand criticism, isolation, or judgment. Society has a way of punishing those who deviate from its rules, labeling them as outcasts, rebels, or troublemakers. Yet, the act of breaking norms is not a rejection of society as a whole, but rather an effort to create space for new ideas, new possibilities, and new ways of living that can benefit everyone. A woman who steps outside the confines of traditional societal norms may be criticized, but she also paves the way for others to follow suit. She demonstrates that it is possible to live authentically without being confined by rules that do not honor the complexity of individual identity. The process of breaking societal norms is also about the liberation of the mind and spirit. It involves rejecting the idea that there is only one correct way to live. Society often sets rigid parameters for what is considered success, happiness, or fulfillment, but these ideas can be narrow and exclusionary. Not everyone finds meaning in traditional forms of achievement, such as marriage, family, or career advancement. By breaking these norms, individuals assert that success and fulfillment are deeply personal and that each person's journey is valid. A woman who chooses to pursue artistic endeavors over a corporate career, or who decides to travel the world instead of settling down, is not less successful. She is simply rewriting the definition of success according to her values, not society's. Breaking societal norms can also be a deeply liberating experience because it challenges the fear of judgment. Many people live their lives in pursuit of societal approval, constantly seeking affirmation from others. This desire for external validation often leads to feelings of inadequacy and frustration as people attempt to conform to ideals that are not aligned with their true selves. By breaking these norms, individuals free themselves from the chains of judgment and allow themselves to pursue their passions, desires, and dreams without fear of failure or ridicule. This freedom is not only an act of personal liberation, but also an invitation for others to follow. When one person breaks a societal norm, it sends a message that it is possible for others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of empowerment and change. Moreover, breaking societal norms often leads to innovation and progress. Many of the world's greatest achievements have come from individuals who dared to challenge the status quo. Whether in science, art, technology, or social change, history has shown that progress is driven by those who refuse to accept the way things are and instead imagine a different, better way. When someone challenges societal norms, they open the door to new perspectives, new approaches, and new solutions to problems that have plagued society for years. A woman who challenges the norm of being passive in the workplace and demands equal pay or leadership opportunities not only empowers herself, but also helps to advance gender equality in society as a whole. Breaking societal norms also has a profound effect on the individual's sense of purpose and self-worth. By stepping outside the constraints of conventional expectations, a person learns to trust their own instincts and inner voice. They begin to see their worth not through. Self-sufficiency and confidence are two interconnected qualities that form the foundation of a strong and independent individual. These traits are often cultivated over time through experience, introspection, and a commitment to personal growth. They are essential for navigating the complexities of life, and together they empower a person to stand firm in the face of challenges, make independent decisions, and remain resilient in the pursuit of their goals. Self-sufficiency is the ability to rely on oneself for emotional, financial, and psychological stability, while confidence is the belief in one's own abilities and judgment. When combined, these qualities create a person who is not easily swayed by external opinions or circumstances and who possesses the inner strength to thrive in any situation. At the core of self-sufficiency is the ability to handle life's demands without constant dependence on others. It is about being capable of managing one's own needs and making decisions that align with one's values without waiting for validation or support from others. A self-sufficient individual is not someone who isolates themselves from society or relationships, but rather someone who has developed the skills, emotional intelligence, and resourcefulness to take responsibility for their own life. This includes having the capacity to solve problems independently, manage finances, navigate personal challenges, and cope with emotional ups and downs. When a person can rely on themselves to meet their needs, they experience a sense of empowerment that reinforces their confidence. The journey to self-sufficiency often begins with learning to trust one's instincts and judgment. This means not relying solely on the opinions of others, but developing the confidence to make decisions based on personal knowledge, experience, and intuition. For many, this process is gradual, involving trial and error as they learn what works for them and what doesn't. Confidence grows through this process as each successful decision or challenge overcome builds a person's belief in their own capabilities. The more a person takes charge of their own life, the more they realize that they are capable of creating their own path and handling what comes their way. This sense of self-assurance allows them to face adversity without being paralyzed by fear or doubt. Self-sufficiency and confidence also play a critical role in emotional resilience. Life is full of setbacks, disappointments, and moments of hardship, but individuals who possess self-sufficiency are better equipped to handle these challenges. They understand that pain and adversity are inevitable parts of the human experience, but they also know that they have the strength to endure. Rather than seeking solace or answers from others, a self-sufficient person looks within for the resources to cope. This does not mean rejecting help or support from others, but rather understanding that emotional well-being is rooted in personal strength. Confidence in oneself is the foundation upon which a person can recover from failure or loss, knowing that they will emerge stronger and more capable. Building self-sufficiency is also about taking ownership of one's life. It involves recognizing that one's actions and choices shape their reality and that no one else is responsible for their happiness or success. This mindset encourages a proactive approach to life, where individuals take initiative to create the life they want, rather than waiting for circumstances to change. By focusing on personal growth and self-improvement, a person can gain the skills and knowledge necessary to take control of their future. The process of becoming self-sufficient requires discipline, patience, and a willingness to challenge oneself, but the rewards are immense. It leads to greater independence, autonomy, and fulfillment as a person realizes that they are the architect of their own life. Confidence, on the other hand, is the emotional counterpart to self-sufficiency. It is the internal belief that one has the ability to succeed, to overcome obstacles, and to achieve their goals. Confidence is not about arrogance or the belief that one is superior to others, but rather about an inner sense of assurance in one's abilities and worth. A confident person knows their strengths and weaknesses, and they approach life with the belief that they can handle whatever comes their way. Confidence enables them to take risks, try new things, and pursue their ambitions without being paralyzed by fear of failure. It is the belief that no matter the outcome, they will be able to navigate the challenges and learn from the experience. Self-sufficiency and confidence are mutually reinforcing. As a person becomes more self-sufficient, their confidence grows, and as their confidence increases, they become more self-sufficient. This creates a cycle of empowerment, where each accomplishment, no matter how small, adds to a person's sense of self-worth and reinforces their ability to handle future challenges. The combination of these qualities creates an individual who is not easily shaken by criticism, rejection, or failure. Instead, they are motivated by a deep belief in their own abilities, and they approach life with a sense of agency and determination. Furthermore, self-sufficiency and confidence foster a healthy sense of independence. In relationships, whether personal or professional, these qualities allow a person to maintain their individuality without losing themselves in the dynamics of others. They are able to give and receive support without becoming overly dependent on others for emotional or financial security. This sense of independence creates healthier, more balanced relationships as both parties are able to stand strong on their own while also supporting each other in meaningful ways. Ultimately, self-sufficiency and confidence lead to a life that is not dictated by external circumstances or the opinions of others. When a person can rely on themselves and believe in their own abilities, they are free to pursue their dreams, set their own goals, and create a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. They are not reliant on others for their sense of worth, and their happiness does not depend on the approval or validation of those around them. This independence allows them to live authentically, embrace challenges, and take full responsibility for their own growth and success. In this way, self-sufficiency and confidence create the foundation for a life of personal empowerment, where the individual is free to live fully and fearlessly, knowing that they have the inner strength to navigate whatever comes their way. Self-sufficiency and confidence are two foundational elements that enable individuals to navigate life with a sense of autonomy, resilience, and fulfillment. These traits are often intertwined, each one reinforcing the other to create a life of independence and empowerment. Self-sufficiency involves the ability to rely on oneself to meet personal, emotional, and financial needs, while confidence is the belief in one's own abilities and judgment. Together, they shape the way a person approaches challenges, interacts with others, and ultimately defines their own path. At the core of self-sufficiency lies the ability to take responsibility for one's own life. This means being capable of handling day-to-day tasks, managing one's emotions, making important decisions, and solving problems independently. A self-sufficient person is not bound by the need for constant external validation or support. Rather, they have learned to trust their own resources and abilities. In a world where dependence on others can sometimes be seen as a sign of weakness, self-sufficiency is a testament to personal strength. It does not mean isolating oneself or avoiding relationships, but rather it means having the capacity to stand on one's own 2 feet and find solutions when faced with difficulties. The more self-sufficient a person becomes, the more they feel empowered to take charge of their life, create their own opportunities, and remain resilient in the face of adversity. Confidence, on the other hand, is the internal belief that one is capable of achieving their goals and navigating life's challenges. It is not simply about self-assurance in the superficial sense. It is about deeply trusting one's judgment, abilities, and instincts. Confidence empowers a person to step outside their comfort zone, take risks, and handle failure without being derailed. A confident person does not let self-doubt dictate their actions. Instead, they approach situations with the belief that they have the inner resources to handle whatever comes their way. Confidence allows individuals to trust their choices and take calculated risks, knowing that they can learn from their experiences regardless of the outcome. In many ways, confidence is the driving force that propels self-sufficiency, because a confident individual is more likely to trust their ability to navigate challenges alone. Together, self-sufficiency and confidence create a cycle of growth and empowerment. When individuals develop self-sufficiency, they are better equipped to handle challenges independently, which in turn boosts their confidence. The ability to make decisions, manage emotions, and solve problems on one's own builds a strong sense of self-worth. With each success, no matter how small, a person's belief in their capabilities grows. This growing confidence reinforces their self-sufficiency, enabling them to take on even greater challenges with a positive mindset. Conversely, a confident person is more likely to embrace opportunities for growth and take the necessary steps to become more self-sufficient. Confidence encourages individuals to trust in their ability to learn new skills, take on new responsibilities, and improve their circumstances. Self-sufficiency and confidence also foster emotional resilience. Life is full of unexpected setbacks and difficulties, and people who are self-sufficient are better equipped to cope with adversity. Rather than turning to others for reassurance or support at every moment, they draw upon their internal resources to manage their emotions and find solutions to their problems. Emotional resilience is a critical aspect of self-sufficiency because it enables a person to stay grounded in challenging situations. Confidence plays a key role in this resilience as it allows individuals to remain composed and optimistic even in the face of hardship. They are more likely to view obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than as insurmountable barriers. This mindset shift is crucial for maintaining emotional well-being and staying focused on long-term goals. In addition to emotional resilience, self-sufficiency and confidence promote a sense of personal freedom. When individuals are self-sufficient, they are not dependent on others for their happiness, success, or sense of worth. They are free to make choices that align with their values and desires without the pressure to conform to societal expectations or the approval of others. Confidence enhances this sense of freedom by allowing individuals to trust their decisions and move forward without fear of judgment or failure. With self-sufficiency and confidence, people are empowered to pursue their passions, set their own goals, and create the life they want to live. They no longer feel constrained by external pressures, but instead take full ownership of their journey. Furthermore, these qualities allow for healthier, more balanced relationships. When individuals are self-sufficient, they are not dependent on others for validation or emotional fulfillment. Instead, they bring their own sense of stability and strength to relationships, which fosters mutual respect and understanding. Confidence in oneself also means being secure in one's identity and boundaries, making it easier to communicate needs and establish healthy boundaries. This allows for relationships based on mutual support rather than dependency. When people are confident and self-sufficient, they are better equipped to contribute positively to others' lives without sacrificing their own sense of self. As individuals continue to build self-sufficiency and confidence, they may encounter moments of doubt or struggle. It is during these times that the importance of both qualities truly become